I asked my Python application this question: analyze a GitHub profile of Torvalds, and this is what I got. It correctly identified Linus Torvalds. It fetched his GitHub profile. It got his followers, repositories, and other information, and then generated this answer. But here's the interesting part. The LLM inside my application doesn't have access to GitHub. So how did it fetch this information? Did it automatically connect to GitHub? Let's find out. Normally, this is how an LLM works. User asks it a question, it gives an answer based on the training data. But if I ask a question like, what is the weather of New York City today? Or how many followers does Dua Lipa have? This data keeps changing. So the training data will get obsolete. It will get outdated. So we need to connect our LLM with real-time applications. Real-world applications like GitHub, Google Search, Make My Trip, Weather API are nothing but tools which are used by LLM. So now you understand why does our LLM even need tools in the first place. Let us build our first GitHub AI agent from scratch. And along the way, you'll also understand how LLMs interact with tools behind the scenes. When you ask the LLM a question, it can use two things, either the training data or the external tools. The LLM uses the tools when it realizes that it cannot get the information from training data. Most people think that the LLM itself calls these tools, extracts the answers and gives it to us, but that is absolutely wrong. LLM can only decide which tool it wants to use. It does not execute the tool. Now, before we look at the code, let's understand what happens behind the scenes. When a user asks a question, the request first goes to the LLM. The LLM then uses its training data and reasoning capabilities to determine whether it can give you an answer or not. For example, if I ask what is Java, it would probably give me an answer using the training data. But if I ask some real-time question, like number of followers or about the weather, then the training data is not sufficient because this data keeps changing on a daily basis. This is where most beginners get confused, and this is what I want to break. The LLM cannot call any tool. It does not call GitHub. It cannot run Python functions. It cannot access external applications by itself. Instead, the LLM sends a tool request to the Python application, and in turn, the Python application receives a request and executes the tool. In our case, the tool is GitHub. GitHub then returns this data back to our application, and the Python application sends the result back to the LLM. And only then does the LLM generate the final answer for the user. So the actual flow looks like this. And this entire process is called tool calling. Now we look at the code. Before we start the coding part, let me show you the project structure. I have created only one Python file, that is main.py. Let's quickly look at the imports. We need OpenAI to talk to our LLM, requests to talk to GitHub, OS to read our API key, and JSON to parse tool arguments. Now we need to connect our Python application to an LLM. Here I am using GPT 4.1 mini as the LLM. So to connect to that, I need to create an OpenAI client. And for that, you need something called an API key. You can create this from the OpenAI's website. And I have already set this API key in the environment variables. So this is where I'm reading it from. Now let's create our first tool. You need to understand that tool is nothing but a simple Python function. This function takes a GitHub username as an input and returns the information about it. For example, if I pass Torvalds as a username, the function will call GitHub and fetch the information about Linus Torvalds. The next line is where the actual API call happens. Here we are making a GET call to GitHub's API. The URL would look something like this. GitHub then returns a user's profile information, and this data is returned in JSON format. We convert this JSON response into a Python dictionary so that we can easily access the fields that are important to us. Instead of returning the entire GitHub response, I am only returning the fields that are important, like bio, followers, public repositories. So we actually created our tool, but there is just one problem. Our LLM still doesn't know about this tool. The LLM doesn't have access to our Python code. We need to tell the LLM explicitly that this tool is available. The tool list is how we do that. Here we are describing every tool that our application makes available to the LLM. First, we give the tool a name, then we describe what the tool does. The LLM uses this description to understand when it should use this tool. Finally, we specify what information the tool needs to run. In this case, it needs a username. At this point, we have only defined a list of tools. We haven't shared anything with the LLM yet. To make the LLM aware of our tool, we need to send it along with the user's question. This API call is how our Python application communicates with the LLM. Here we are sending the user's prompt, and here we are sending the list of tools we have just defined. Notice we are not sending the Python function itself. We are only sending information about the tool, name, description, and the parameters. This is enough for the LLM to understand what the tool does and when should it use it. Once the LLM receives both the user's question and the available tools, it has two choices. Like we already discussed earlier, if it already knows the answer, it will respond directly. If it needs external information, it requests for one of the available tools. Whenever we make a call to the LLM, it returns a structured response. Let us try to understand this response. The first field you'll notice is choices. Choices are simply a list of responses generated by the LLM. Since the LLM is capable of generating more than one responses for the same prompt, the API stores them inside a list. We'll look at the first item. Inside that, we have a message object. The object contains the LLM response. Now, inside the message, you'll notice two important fields, content and the tool's call. The LLM can respond in one of two ways. If it already knows the answer, it will return the answer inside the content field. But if it needs external information, it will not answer immediately. Instead, it will request for a tool by populating the tool's call field. Let's see what happens in our case. In our case, if you see the content is null, that means that the LLM hasn't answered our question yet. Instead, tool calls contains a request to execute the GitHub tool. It also includes the arguments that the tool needs to execute. In our case, it's the username. So the LLM did not execute the Python function. The LLM did not call the tool itself. It simply told our application that this tool is needed. Let us check in the terminal now. It wants to use the get GitHub profile tool, and it has even figured out the username for us. Remember, we never hard-coded towels anywhere in our code. We have the function and we have the arguments. Now it's time to execute it. This line executes our get GitHub profile function. Behind the scenes, the function makes a request to the GitHub API using the username provided by the LLM. And in return, we get the GitHub profile data. Let's print and see what we got. As you can see, we successfully fetched the profile information, but we are not yet done. Right now, this is just raw JSON. It's useful for the application, but not for the user. We still need the LLM to read this data, analyze it, and generate a human-friendly response. Let's see how we do that. Now, we'll make one final call to the LLM. This time, along with the user's question, we'll also send it the tool response. And here is the final response. Instead of raw JSON, now we have an actual answer that can be shown directly to the user. And just like that, you've built your first AI agent. And surprisingly, it is less than 100 lines of code. In the upcoming videos, we will be covering more such topics. So if you enjoyed this video and learned something new, consider subscribing. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.